Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Jackie, and this is my channel. I am Forever Faithful, and I want to welcome you. Thank you for joining me today. Glass is a little crooked today. Yeah, I was just reminiscing and thinking about some things that happened this past week, and it's like Holy Spirit was reminding me that these are spiritual attacks, okay? And I didn't know whether or not to hold this information just to myself or to share it. And I asked for a couple of confirmations. I kept seeing these numbers, and I was like, finally, listen, if you really want me to share, I will share, but I need a definite confirmation. And then I saw 1111 on my stove, so I was like, okay, here I am. So what I want to share is that kind of what I've been going through. And I would say for about 2 months now that my vehicle, I haven't been driving it because I was in the process of getting brakes done and a tune-up. And then it was like, okay, well, then my battery light came on, and then the alternator went out. Then got the battery charged, and it worked fine. And, so I could drive it to be repaired. But then it stranded me. So I was like, okay, get the battery recharged. It didn't work. It didn't work at all. It worked before. No problem. Never had a problem with it. But now it doesn't even want to work, and it's fully charged. And I'm like, so what else is going on with this vehicle? So over the past 2 months, I've been having some highs and lows. Because it's challenging to get there where it's stranded. It's not too far, but getting people to actually do what they said they're gonna do has been a challenge. So I just finally say forget it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. There was days and even a week where I was like, I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to deal with it. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, something so small seemed to be snowballing. But at some point I was like getting the quotes, and I'm like, oh, okay, so you want about $1,500. You want about 15 to $2,000. Like, okay, well, at this moment, that's what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna keep it moving, and thank goodness for like home delivery services. So it's not like I'm going without. And so I just realized that I've been a lot more irritable than usual the past few weeks, and irritated, and just having these highs and lows dealing with this vehicle. And then I finally just said, oh, I mean, I feel like I've tried everything I know that I can do in my own power. So physically, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna leave it to the Holy Spirit, to the universe, to divine source to handle it, because there's only so much I can do. So I was like, all right, left it alone. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And then last week, I was going to sleep, and I had on my eye mask and my earplugs. I was really tired, so I wanted a really good sleep and no interruptions, no distractions from my neighbors. So I was like, okay, going to sleep. And I was on my way. Oh, I could feel it. I was going in deep. Then I heard a growl. I don't have pets. No one's in here. No one's supposed to be in here. But I hear a growl, and I'm like, I have any earplugs. Did my radio come on? I was like, no, don't even have it plugged up. So I'm like, whatever. Maybe I'm just tripping. I go back, try. And then I hear another growl. But it's louder, in a sense to let me know, no, you heard what you heard. And then I began to feel a presence coming from my left side. And I was like, okay, I can feel it coming closer. And then the next thing I know, I felt myself being touched on my wrist and then my forearm, and then it went up to my shoulder. And by then I was like, oh no. And I said, get the fuck away from me. Or I said, leave me the fuck alone. I think that's what I said. Excuse the profanity, but that's exactly pretty much what I said, because I'm so tired. I ain't got the energy and the strength to be dealing with this stuff. I just want to go to sleep. And I said, leave me the F alone. And I said, God, handle it. I literally said, God, handle it. And I went on to sleep. And I was at peace. And I went to sleep, knowing I have used my authority. And now I'm asking God to go ahead and handle it. Since I have removed it from my space, God, you can handle that now. And go to sleep. A friend of mine, the only friend I have left, asked me, he said, how could you go back to sleep? He said, I would be terrified. I would be up all night. But for me, this is, I've had these encounters before. And I have learned my power and continue to learn my power and my authority in using it. And it works, because no demon has more power than you as a human. We as gods, goddesses, no. So use it. Because initially I was fearful laying there when I heard between the first and the second growl. I did. Fear struck me. It was like, oh. And I already know, if I am fearful, I feed it and it becomes stronger, and then it can overtake me, which will make me even more fearful. Or I can actually stand in my authority, in my power, and rebuke it. Tell it what I needed to do, which is leave me alone. To leave me alone. And then it left me alone. It wasn't here, and I went back to sleep. And I woke up the next day. I cannot believe you gonna try me. My friend thought it was pretty cool that I was so cool and calm and collected about it. But that's what happens when you begin to stand in your own power and begin to feel your power and your authority when you speak to these evil energies. So maybe 2 or 3 nights later, I woke up paralyzed, could not move, could not speak. Just there, I could feel something on top of me hovering and holding me down. And at the same time, simultaneously, as I'm laying in the bed, and this thing is holding me down, paralyzing me, I could also see myself from a different perspective from across the room. So it was like, even though I was laying in bed, this thing was paralyzing me. It's like my soul left my body, and I could see myself in the bed being held down by this black mist that had somewhat of a human form. It wasn't solid. It had some shapes of like a human, but I could see it clearly. So I'm like, and I could actually see myself from my other point of view fighting this thing, fighting it with my fists, just fighting it. Get off me, leave me alone. You have no authority over me. You gotta go, leave. I saw myself fighting this thing as I was actually in the bed fighting it. Never had an experience like that before. It was quite interesting, I must say. And the next thing I know, I'm actually laying up in my bed. I'm no longer across the room. My soul is no longer across the room looking. But that was the last thing I actually recall from that point of view, looking at myself in the bed, was me punching this thing, fighting this thing. So, but this is what I know is like when you truly commit to the mission, to your journey, and you are intentional about it, the evil will try to stop you any way it can. It will use people, places, things, situations. Something so small can seem to snowball into something larger. And even small stuff like just to irritate you, get underneath your skin, to frustrate you, to make you angry, or even for you to even possibly even think back, to think about going back to where you just came from. Anything to stop you from progressing. And that can mean from something small to something big. But ultimately, I just have to release it. I see it for what it really is. There's no need of me continuously being frustrated and irritated by it and feeding these evil things, but to be more grateful, and to count the blessings is really good. And know that everything's going to work out in the end. Because the way I see it, for me to have these attacks in a short period of time, within 1 week, lets me know that something is definitely around the corner, and that whatever these things are trying to stop me, but it's not going to stop me, because here I am making a video about it. Just know that that's just some of the tricks of the enemy and of the evil ones, and don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. And if you are experiencing these attacks in your sleep, use your power, use your words, and get rid of it. Don't be fearful. Don't. Because it's really fearful of you really knowing your own power. And that's why I'm able to go back to sleep. That's why it doesn't bother me as it once did. Like, I'm comfortable and becoming more comfortable in my power and using my authority. Because the way I see it, I didn't invite you in my home. I didn't invite you. You just showed up and think that you're just going to slide on in the bed. No, not happening. You got to go. And you can never come back. Leave me alone. So I just want to share that story, my testimony about what I've been dealing with, and even currently, it's probably been a full 24 hours now that I've been without water. And I'm hoping that they get it fixed. But yeah, so, and it's one of those things like, well, you need water to do a lot of things, especially the things I had planned on doing today. So what I decided to do is just take it as a relaxing day, a fun day, a fun day, a light-filled day with some music and some comedy, laugh. And, tomorrow's a new day. Not gonna worry about it. I got bottled water. Thank goodness for wipes and all that good stuff. So I'm like, it could really get underneath my skin, but I'm not gonna let it. I just feel like I'm just way too close to fall for the BS that these evil entities are trying to pull on me. It's not working, and it's not gonna work. Okay? Anyway, that's all I want to share. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Take care of yourself until next time. Bye.